There's an incident on a crash at the Federal Reserve.
Good morning, Bitcoin. Today is Wednesday, June 10th, 2020. My name is Thomas Hunt, and this is the World Crypto Network. The price of Bitcoin is flat again, up 0.37 in the last 24 hours, with a last of 9,760, a high of 9,835, and a low of 9,698. That's $1 for 10,246 Satoshis. Volume is very low, even for a weekday, with only 1,842 Bitcoins trading hands. The market continues to lean margin long, 85%. Bitcoin dominance is at 65%. After a night in Fight Club, everything in the real world gets the volume turned down. Nothing can piss you off. Your word is law, and if other people break that law or question you, even that doesn't piss you off. In the real world, I'm a recall campaign coordinator in a shirt and a tie, sitting in a dark with a mouthful of blood and changing over the heads and slides as my boss tells Microsoft how he chose a particular shade of pale cornflower blue for an icon. The first Fight Club was just Tyler and I pounding on each other. It used to be enough that when I came home angry and knowing that my life wasn't towing my 5-year plan, I could clean my condominium or detail my car. Someday I'd be dead without a scar and there would be a really nice condo and car. Really, really nice until the dust settled or the next owner. Nothing is static. Even the Mona Lisa is falling apart. Since Fight Club, I can wiggle half the teeth in my jaw. Maybe self-improvement isn't the answer. Tyler never knew his father. Maybe self-destruction is the answer. Tyler and I still go to Fight Club together. Fight Club is in the basement of a bar now, after the bar closes on Saturday night, and every week you go there, and there's more guys there. Tyler gets under the one light in the middle of the black concrete basement, and he can see that light flickering back out of the dark in 100 pairs of eyes. First thing Tyler yells is, "The first rule about Fight Club is, you don't talk about Fight Club." The second rule about Fight Club, Tyler yells, is you don't talk about Fight Club. Me, I knew my dad for about 6 years, but I don't remember anything. My dad, he starts a new family in a new town every 6 years. This isn't so much like a family as it's like he sets up a franchise. What you see at Fight Club is a generation of men raised by women. Tyler standing under the one light in the after midnight blackness in a basement full of men. Tyler runs through the other rules. 2 men per fight. 1 fight at a time. No shoes, no shirts. Fights go on as long as they have to. And the 7th rule, Tyler yells, if this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight. Fight Club is not football on television. You weren't watching a bunch of men you don't know halfway around the world beating on each other live by satellite with a 2-minute delay, commercials pitching beer every 10 minutes, and a pause now for station identification. After you've been to Fight Club, watching football on television is watching pornography when you could be having great sex. Fight Club gets to be your reason for going to the gym and keeping your hair cut short and cutting your nails. The gyms you go to are crowded with guys trying to look like men, as if being a man means looking the way a sculptor or an art director says. Like Tyler says, even a souffle looks pumped. My father never went to college, so it was really important I go to college. After college, I called him long distance and said, "Now what?" My dad didn't know. When I got a job and turned 25, long distance, I said, "Now what?" My dad said, "Didn't know." So he said, "Get married." I'm a 30-year-old boy, and I'm wondering if another woman is really the answer I need. What happens at Fight Club doesn't happen in words. Some guys need a fight every week. This week, Tyler says it's the first 50 guys through the door and that's it. No more. Last week, I tapped a guy and he and I got on the list for a fight. This guy must have had a bad week, got both my arms behind my head in a full Nelson, and rammed my face into the concrete floor until my teeth bit open the inside of my cheek, and my eye was swollen shut and was bleeding. And after I said stop, I could look down and there was a print of half my face in blood on the floor. Tyler stood next to me, both of us looking at the big O of my mouth with the blood all around it, and the little slit of my eye starting to stare up at us from the floor, and Tyler says, "Cool." I shake the guy's hand and say, "Good fight." "This guy," he says, "how about next week?" I try to smile through all the swelling and say, "Look at me. How about next month?" You aren't alive anywhere like you're alive at Fight Club. When it's you and one other guy under that light in the middle of all those watching. Fight Club isn't about winning or losing fights. Fight Club isn't about words. You see a guy come to Fight Club for the first time, and his ass is a loaf of white bread. You see the same guy here 6 months later, and he looks like he's carved out of wood. This guy trusts himself to handle anything. There's grunting and noise at Fight Club like at the gym, but Fight Club isn't about looking good. There's hysterical shouting in tongues like at church. And when you wake up on Sunday afternoon, you feel saved. It's, of course, Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. And now, the news. Another data point suggests Bitcoin close to prolonged bull market. Bitcoin could be on the verge of breaking into a multi-month bull run, according to a lesser-known data metric. The percentage of Bitcoin circulating supply in profit is currently hovering at 87%, according to data provided by blockchain analytics firm Glassnode. The metric is calculated by looking at the ratio of coins with a value that is higher now than when they were last moved. Essentially, over 16 million Bitcoin out of the total circulating supply of 18.4 million is currently making gains. More importantly, the 87% level is close to that seen at the onset of previous long-term bull markets. Historically, levels of 90% and higher have clearly marked pronounced bull markets. For instance, the percentage of circulating supply in profit rose above 90% in October 2016 as the cryptocurrency rallied from the August low of 470 up to record highs above 1100 in the first quarter of 2017. Bitcoin continued to gain altitude and ultimately reached a record high of $20,000 in December 2017. Throughout the meteoric rally, the non-price metric hovered largely in the range of 80 to 99%. Looking further back, the percentage of supply in profit crossed well above 90% in January 2013 and remained above that level for 3 months as Bitcoin rose to clock highs near 250 in mid-April. A similar pattern was seen as prices rose to record highs above $1,000 in mid-November the same year. So, if Bitcoin is a guide, Bitcoin may embark on a stellar bull run, and when the percentage of supply and profit rises above 90%, Bitcoin will likely cross that key level if prices rise above $10,000, reinforcing the argument put forward by analysts that $10,000 is the level to beat for the bulls. At press time, Bitcoin is changing hands near 97.40, marginally down on the day. The cryptocurrency has rallied by nearly 150% over the past 3 months, lifting the percent supply and profit from 43% to 87%. eToro CEO predicts market crash within 3 weeks. Safe haven Bitcoin? Question mark. The largest cryptocurrencies gradually decoupling from stocks may see a major test in the coming weeks. The CEO of a major trading platform has warned that a new stock market crash will come in less than a month, and investors should pay attention now. In a series of tweets on June 11th, Yoni Asa, CEO of eToro, forecast a crash coming in the next 3 weeks. Arguing that stock's growth was speculative in nature, he said that a correction was now due. There's a crash coming soon in the equity markets. In the next 3 weeks, someone, not sure whom, is going to sell and short their position and crash the markets. Buyers beware. Caveat emptor. Dun dun dun. A Redditor has nearly found $5 million of lost Bitcoin. What is it? Close only counts in horseshoes? Something like that. Horseshoes and something else. A Reddit user, Shokaton, is one step closer to finding his 533 Bitcoin lost on an old hard drive, but he's no stranger to treasure hunting. One Redditor has come tantalizingly close to finding 533 Bitcoins stored on his late brother's laptop, worth a cool $5.2 million at current prices. The Bitcoin was stored on a laptop that Redditor Shokaton gave to his brother, who died last August. He unearthed the computer while rifling through boxes of his brother's possessions ahead of a big move, he wrote today. But, and it's a big but, the laptop's hard drive is missing. No shit. And with it, the Bitcoin stored on it. Yeah, no shit. He has no way of accessing the Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. So he's still looking through the boxes, trying to find the hard drive. Not much is known about Shokaton, but a cursory sweep through his Reddit history shows that he's no stranger to treasure hunting. He often posts on Finding Fenn's Gold, a subreddit dedicated to cracking a famous code left by Forrest Fenn that points to his stash of buried treasure. Fenn, a Vietnam War veteran and arts dealer from Santa Fe, New Mexico, announced many years that he had sequestered a treasure chest filled with millions of dollars of gold and gemstones in the Rocky Mountains. He left a poem for treasure seekers to decipher. It ends, "Your effort will be worth the cold. If you are brave and in the wood, I give you title to the gold." Well, not much of a poem. On June 6th, Fenn posted that the treasure had been found, meaning that Shokaton's missing hard drive may be his only chance to find a fortune. Check out the World Crypto Network podcast on all the places where podcasts are currently served. I still need to update yesterday's, but 4K downloader is now not working. So here's to new software. We'll check it out soon and get it updated after this show. The World Crypto Network audio podcast. It's like this show, but with audio. And check out the Treasures Don't Float t-shirt at the World Crypto Store at worldcryptonetwork.store. Only $20 you could get your own Treasures Don't Float t-shirt. What happened to your money? What happened to your boating accident? Tired of telling your friends how you lost all your Bitcoin in a boating accident? Get the shortcut. Get the t-shirt. Save time. Wear t-shirts. And now everyone's been talking about why we shouldn't talk about the protests and how the protests are never about Bitcoin and why can't this show be about Bitcoin? Here it is. Bitcoin from the protests. Worlds combine. This is my thesis. Everything is connected right here. Take it away.
Energy out here. You know, my condolences to all the families who lost their loved ones. And I got some ideas on how we all move forward. I got 3 points I'd like to present to y'all. These are my macro ideas. These aren't full solutions. We're going to need people for the micro ideas to get the finer details. My first solution, I want to present an alternative financial solution to everyone today. The elites of this country and globally use the financial system to oppress us. They are killing us with our own money. There is a new financial system that I want to present to you that's open to everyone. All you need is a phone to start using it. I want everyone to please start learning about a new financial system. This system is called Bitcoin. It was created for this very purpose. So the elites do not have control of the financial system anymore. With Bitcoin, they cannot turn on the printing press and give our dollars to their friends for bailing them out because they weren't being responsible. You cannot bail people out. The elites cannot bail out their friends anymore. Please learn about this system. This system is called Bitcoin. It was created for this very purpose. A great resource is a man named Andreas Antonopoulos. You can look him up on YouTube. Please learn and support this system. You don't have to put all your money into it. Like my brother said earlier, you can put weekly $5, but we will no longer let the elites kill us with our own money. That is absurd.
There you go. Bitcoin at the protests. Everything comes together. Isn't that perfect? It's exactly what you've been waiting for. He even mentioned Andreas Antonopoulos. How cool was that? Shout out to Andreas Antonopoulos. Wish he'd talk more about Bitcoin. Meanwhile, the price of Bitcoin is still flat, hardly moving at all, boring, uninteresting, not worth your time. Don't look at it. Don't look at it every day, all day. Don't look at it now. Stop looking at it. It hasn't moved. It's the same. The price of Bitcoin is up 0.39%, if that's anything at all, with a last of 9,766, a high of 9,835, and a low of 9,698. Volume is low as well, with 1,842 Bitcoins changing hands. We continue to lean long, with 85% of the market heading that direction, and Bitcoin dominance is at 65.7%. And now, the news. Hopefully not that much happened. It was a pretty slow day. Tried to go to the dentist, didn't work. Going to go again in a few weeks. It's going to work that time. Governor Cuomo calls on President Trump to apologize for his tweet about Martin Gugino. What do you think? It was staged? Do you think he saw the blood coming out of his head was staged? Is that what you're saying? You saw his head hit the pavement? You see blood on the pavement? How reckless, how irresponsible, how mean, how crude. I mean, if there was ever a reprehensible, dumb comment, and from the President of the United States, if he ever feels a moment of decency, he should apologize for that tweet. It is wholly unacceptable. And of course, by the end of this news feed, all the president's men will be standing up for the tweet. They'll all be saying that it was a good idea to accuse the 75-year-old man who was knocked over by the Buffalo police, that it was a good idea to accuse him of being Antifa, and that he's definitely a threat to this country. He's 75 years old, knocked over, still recovering in the hospital. And these people will say that it's right of the president to attack him. That's how low we're going to go. So everybody reset your limbo bars. By the end of the show, that's where we'll be. But first, let's check out a message from the New York City Police. This is the police boss of the union, I guess. And he says, stop treating us like animals and thugs. Start treating the police with respect. The police have had enough. Let's check it out. Let's see what he says.
This isn't stained by someone in Minneapolis. It's still got a shine on it. And so do theirs. So do theirs. Stop treating us like animals and thugs. And start treating us with some respect. That's what we're here today to say. We've been left out of the conversation. We've been vilified. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Trying to make us embarrassed of our profession. 375 million interactions. Overwhelmingly, overwhelmingly positive. Nobody talks about all the police officers that were killed in the last week in the United States of America, and there were a number of them. We don't condone Minneapolis. We roundly reject what he did as disgusting. It's disgusting. It's not what we do. It's not what police officers do. Our legislators abandoned us. The press is vilifying us. Well, you know what, guys? I'm proud to be a cop. And I'm going to continue to be proud to be a cop until the day I retire. And that's all I have to say.
Okay. We'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, Georgia, and of course this is a ridiculous statement by the police. It's great to see the righteous indignation and to see that he's still fired up and upset. Maybe we'll watch one of the various remixed versions of this video with the police violence intercut. They're tired of being disrespected. I like the way they say our legislators, like they own them. Like it's a very union thing to say. It's a very political thing to say. And just, again, not understanding. And these are the two sides. These are the guys that make $250,000 a year. We just got the releases from California of the salaries. They make that much money. And again, most of their interactions go great. But sometimes they kill their customers. Let us keep killing our customers. Let us keep beating up our customers. Let us keep abusing our clients, he's saying. This is not a justifiable stance. In Atlanta, they've closed off the polling places and are blocking access to African American voters. More than 16,000 active registered voters from 5 precincts now have to vote at one polling place, and the voting machines are down. It's been really tragic watching this whole voting thing since the stolen election of 2000 and the stolen election of 2004. It was clear from the beginning that not a single dollar should ever be spent on a touchscreen voting machine before they spent any of the first set of dollars and now the second set of dollars. Pen and paper, verifiable paper ballot have always been the only way to vote. And of course, vote by mail, as shown in Oregon for the last 20 years, has been an incredibly successful system, increasing turnout and never having a situation like this. Even with a situation like this, a backup system of paper ballots and pens would have gotten it going, right? You could have had little makeshift voting cubbies. Actually, the little cubbies could have been made out of cardboard, like the things we used to take tests in. They'd set them up at desks. Just give people a little bit of privacy, a pen and a piece of paper, and they can vote. The idea that, first of all, considering all the other nonsense that could happen with computer voting, switching the vote totals, say in Ohio, just flip-flopping Gore and Kerry, or Bush and Kerry, sorry. You just flip-flop them once and you win the whole election. But putting that aside, putting the insecurity of the tabulators, the insecurity of the actual counting machines, the actual collection machines are horribly inefficient. The idea that voting collection machines could fail and there's no backup system. Anywhere else, there'd be a backup system. Blockbuster Video, if we couldn't sign you up for a card, they'd have a backup system like a binder. You could write down the person's information in and get them a card anyway. Because as a business, you never turn away 16,000 customers. You never say, hey, we're too busy, we can't serve you, never come here again. Voting as a business is completely messed up and failing. And again, this is just a preview of the 2020 election. Right now, it doesn't matter. It's a primary. Everyone can kind of chuckle about it. Oh, I spent all day outside in Atlanta waiting to vote. I lost a whole day of work and, might have died from heat stroke and all that. But just chuckle about it until it's time for the real election. This is just a preview of coming attractions. Let's keep moving. Okay, so we showed the Andreas Bitcoin thing. Here's a protester who died after 2 days of exposure to tear gas. Tear gas is banned in war. That's why. Why do we keep killing our people? Georgia voting machines don't work. I'm Jack's complete lack of surprise. Fake SpaceX YouTube channels scam viewers out of $150,000 in Bitcoin. It's great. So yeah, if you make these YouTube channels where it displays speeches from Elon Musk and Steve Wozniak, other people like that, you put a QR code, a donation, you say, send me $10 and I'll send you $100 back. Apparently you can make 150,000. So I don't know. It's crazy. LeBron James is upset about the voting system, says everyone's talking about how do we fix this? They say go out and vote. What about asking if how we vote is also structurally racist? Paper ballots, mail-in voting, universal registration. These are the only sensible options. Once again, we can't do that. Republicans are worried increasing turnout will decrease their ability to win. So until that changes, or until, I don't know, meteors, asteroids. The legislator was hit by an asteroid. The TV show Cops has been canceled. Says it's a 6-year run, but we think it's been on for at least 30 years. Cops has been canceled. The show that pretty much glorified the police chasing people down. Instead of, having an arrest and a time and scheduling something, they show up at your house. Generally, the perpetrators are shirtless, and then they run from the police, and then we film it, and then the cops beat them up, and we film it. So we're not going to film that anymore. Hey, that's pretty good. They're still not sure about this other show called Live PD. Sounds like a live version of Cops. And in general, the Lego company has pulled all the police Legos from their shelves. I don't know about that Paw Patrol show. The nice, friendly German Shepherd police dog teaches your kid things. That seems like a good idea. But in general, the idea of continuing to portray police as positive figures in the media is going away. These are the people who beat up protesters in the street. These are the people who tear gas people at short range that are unarmed and not a threat to them. So, bye-bye cops. Mississippi is considering changing its racist state flag. Well, that'd be good. Maybe we could rename the Washington football franchise too. Hey, check it out. 2 Bitcoin hats are heading to Las Vegas. Wink, wink. Sounds pretty cool. Check out Bitcoin hats at KNOW Bitcoin. No Bitcoin on Twitter. Bitcoin hat guy. He's been sending me hats for years. Pretty cool. I just keep buying them. Keep wearing them out. They're just so good. I wear them everywhere. Get all wrecked. Time for a new hat. Gonna be cool. It turns out that Coinbase users do not appreciate Brian Armstrong selling surveillance tools to the U.S. government. People are withdrawing their Bitcoins out of Coinbase. It's time to get out of Coinbase. They just keep stealing other people's business plans and now threatening to investigate their users and sell them out to the IRS and help other people investigate Bitcoiners. Great job, Coinbase. New York is going to repeal 50-A, the law that keeps police records secret. Activists have worked to overturn it for years. Just over a year ago, it was nowhere. This victory is happening because of the protesters. It belongs to them. So there you go. No more secret police records, at least in New York. Everybody's trying to shame these poor police officers.
Everybody's trying to shame us. The legislators. The press.
Oh my God.
Everybody's trying to shame us. Into being embarrassed.
Oh my fucking God.
Well, you know what? This isn't stained. It's still got a shine on it. Stop treating us like animals and thugs. Start treating us with some respect. It's disgusting. Trying to make us embarrassed of our profession. Don't resist! Don't resist! Don't resist! Don't resist, bro! I'm not! And that's all I have to say.
There you go. The police finally intercut with scenes of police violence. The great thing about the internet, I was going to make one of those myself. Someone else did. A lot of someone else's. So shout out to the internet on that one. A quick turnaround. Why are COVID-19 cases on the rise in Sacramento? It turns out family home gatherings, people are meeting up together, large groups of family, and exchanging virus together. Other people are going to the barber shop to exchange virus in the next few weeks, as expected, as predicted here. Nothing holding back, telling you the truth. We're going to see the second wave all over. We've already got cities heating up. So gather up your food, get ready to stay home again. Here comes a potential second lockdown. And if not that, just a sensible lockdown of people who don't want to get sick staying home. John Carvalho appears to be reading Brian Armstrong's diary. I hope Coinbase does something dumb like buy Abra to list stocks just as the bubble popped. Cash App and Revolut probably making Brian jelly. And that is Coinbase strategy right there. They just copy everyone else's business model instead of doing their own properly. Could it be a place where within 5 seconds you could buy $20 worth of Bitcoin? Yes. Could it be the world's greatest resource about Bitcoin, explaining cryptocurrency, not promoting any random altcoins that may go up or down or up or down? Yes, it could. But Coinbase won't be that. They want to be everything to everybody. And we all know it's a pathway to failure. Hey, check it out. Internal hospital document leaked from his friend showing that the ventilator spike, confirmed cases, is currently happening in Arizona. Is wild. So look right here. Here's Arizona. This is when they ended the stay-at-home order. Then if you look out, you can see after the incubation period, bump, 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 bump. They're having more patients on ventilators in Arizona. Coronavirus continues to spread throughout Arizona and many other states. Stay away from people. Stay healthy. Voting Act violation? Probably. DOJ doesn't give a hoot? Certainly. And it's 10 p.m. in Georgia, and black folk are still waiting in line to vote. Look at this. Look at the dedication. Again, they probably don't have absentee ballots in this state. They're probably blocking ballot access. The voting machines are just another method to prevent voting. It'd be ironic if it wasn't so true. Some Las Vegans waited 6 hours to cast their votes in Nevada today. So this is happening all over. Ridiculousness of voting machines and voting lines when we could just be voting from home. Andrea Juncker writes, Donald Trump came down harder on 75-year-old Martin Gugino for cracking his skull and bleeding from his ear after being shoved to the ground by cops in Buffalo than he did on Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for slaughtering Jamal Khashoggi. And he really did. But you know, there are good people on both sides. The people who slaughtered him, the guy who got slaughtered, both sides. Blatant discriminatory evasions of federal decrees are rare, said Justice John Roberts in his declaration that racism was over as his rationale for gutting the Voting Rights Act in 2013. And of course, Georgia closed 214 polling places after the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. There are fewer than 80 polling places for the June primary in Metro Atlanta, where the majority of black voters live. Mitch McConnell is blocking legislation passed by House Democrats to restore the Voting Rights Act. So yes, the body rots from the top, rots from the head. Breaking. GOP House Speaker in Pennsylvania is resigning after Brian Sims, Pennsylvania, exposed him for hiding from Democrats that a GOP rep had coronavirus. Some of the Republicans even quarantined themselves, but they never told the Democrats. This is beyond disturbing. And again, you're going to get caught. Whatever you're covering up, you're gonna get caught. This example is about the House in Pennsylvania, where one of the Republicans got coronavirus, but they didn't want to shut down the government, and they didn't want to shut down the state, and they didn't want to protect the Pennsylvanian people. So instead, the Republicans quarantined themselves and hid this all from the Democrats and from the people. So what matters first? Me. Me matters first. I. GOP, Republicans. For me. I want to be a representative of the me. I hope I get into the representative house so I can represent me. Scary. Balaji writes, it's a complex topic, but defunding the police is on a straight line with defunding the state. And declaring an autonomous zone is on a straight line with creating a startup society. If you take something down, you should build something better. Revolutions are judged by their fruits. And we have a look at the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle, which had speeches, free food, and people helping each other. So, maybe we should try that. If you look at Arizona and Texas, they have reason to be concerned, particularly areas around Houston right now. We could lose control of this very quickly. Talking about the coronavirus, very quickly we could lose control. Just like in Brazil. Brazil is following Trump's coronavirus blueprint. Now its cases are surging. And of course, they're all into hydroxychloroquine, and their recent response to surging cases was to stop publishing their figures. That's right. Then you don't even know about it. Coronavirus hospitalizations are rising in several states following Memorial Day in at least 9 states. 9 states on the rise. You can see drone footage right here of voters in Georgia waiting at the polls. This is pretty much Republicans' strategy to win in 2020. Deny the voters access to the polls, and this way, you never have to count their votes. It's just that easy. The mortality of the coronavirus pandemic surpasses most other such catastrophes, from famines to wars to hurricanes to terrorist attacks, even to other modern pandemics. Deaths from the coronavirus are 4 times that of a bad flu season in New York City. 5.8 times that. Hurricane Katrina, increase in deaths compared to a normal year. 6.7 times the deaths. And finally, Caitlin McEnany says that Trump was just raising questions based upon a report he saw when he pushed the Gugino conspiracy. They're questions that need to be asked. This individual had some questionable treats. You mean Trump? Some profanity laden. You mean Trump? About police. No one condones any sort of violence. Very strange wriggling out of the statement here. As Caitlin Collins says, McEnany is the first official to defend Trump amplifying a conspiracy by saying the questions he raised were legitimate. Republicans largely avoided it. White House aides said privately that it was unhelpful and cringeworthy, and the chief of staff didn't comment while on the Hill. But finally, McEnany has stood up for it, and she is going to just stand with conspiracy. So I'm trying to find the video. We don't seem to have it right here. We'll see if we have the video. But yes, it's a fantastic clip. Basically, the president is questioning the loyalty of the 75-year-old man who was pushed down. The president sounded completely unhinged in the tweet, saying that the man might have had a police scanner or a jammer in his hands, even justifying the police and saying that the man took a dive. The man took a dive, hit his head on purpose harder than he needed to. He's still in the hospital. That man's still in the hospital. So she's willing to double down on the conspiracy theory. Trump's really found a great press secretary here. She's willing to go to the mats. Mika Brzezinski writes, Dr. Fauci says we are at the beginning of this pandemic. With 114,000 people dead, there are more challenges. The response to the many warnings was so botched, and the American people are still paying the price for this president's magical thinking that it would just go away. 114,000 and climbing. Check out this statue of Christopher Columbus that's now in a lake. And Liz D'Annunzio reminds us that just raising questions is what cowardly propagandists do to claim plausible deniability when called out for their deceptive and devious motives. This is pure evil. Food banks are pleading for help. Andrew Yang says, we are living in an era of institutional decline and failure. The question is, what comes next? I don't think you want to know the answer to that. Don't think you want to know. And here's Kayleigh on the Fox News defending Trump's attack on a 75-year-old man who was brutalized by police because he had some very questionable tweets, as if that justifies him almost being killed. So here she is, the monster of monsters, the queen of mean.
Yesterday, the president, Kayleigh, tweeted out that this Buffalo protester, the 75-year-old who was shoved to the ground by a police officer, might have been part of Antifa and a provocateur in order to get that type of reaction, just to paraphrase. Could you expand on that? Does the president think that this guy is part of Antifa?
So the president was raising questions based on a report that he saw. There are questions that need to be asked. In every case, we can't jump on one side without looking at all the facts at play. This individual had some very questionable tweets, some profanity-laden tweets about police officers. Of course, no one condones any sort of violence. We need the appropriate amount of force used in any interaction. But there are a lot of questions in that case. In fact, you had 56 police officers who resigned in protest of how their fellow officers were treated. So I think we need to ask why those officers resigned, what happened, what facts were on the ground, and the president was just raising some of those questions.
Yesterday, the president...
Wow. Stunning defense. Unbelievable work there by Kayleigh McEnany. Really just going at it. Fantastic, horrible defense of the undefendable. Basically, she says that you have to ask questions if you've heard them or if someone has said them. So obviously, has she stopped beating her husband yet? Has she stopped abusing her kids? Because I read a report that she was abusing her kids, and that kind of justifies doing anything to her now. This is how secret police talk. This is how it all starts and it all happens. I've heard that this person might be doing that, and to bring it in after the fact, after the old man's attacked, after he's lying in his hospital room, after he smacked his head on the concrete, and then to use the police resignation, which we've all seen as the most disgusting thing the police could do, at least until this video right here where this guy went at it. Just the most disgusting thing they could do was to side with that guy. And then to side with him again, and then to side with him again, and now for the president to side with him, to side against the protester who got knocked down. It's really to show you how far and how low we've come.
The legislators.
Let's take a look at this. It looks like maybe a different version.
Everybody's trying to shame us. The legislators. The press.
Oh my God.
Everybody's trying to shame us. Into being embarrassed.
Oh my fucking God.
Well, you know what? This isn't stained. It's still got a shine on it. Stop treating us like animals and thugs. Start treating us with some respect. It's disgusting Trying to make us embarrassed of our profession. Don't resist, don't resist, don't resist. Don't resist, bro. I'm not. And that's all I have to say.
Well, I'm embarrassed for them. So there it is. Someone mentioned Bitcoin at the protests. More police abuse, more violence. The story continues. I think this Bitcoin guy who mentioned it here might have been the same guy who mentioned it a few days ago to the TV station on Univision. I'm not sure. But good stuff. Someone mentioned Bitcoin at the protests. It all came together. They say the price might be going up. They say the price of stocks might be going down. If you keep searching, you might find a hard drive full of 533 lost Bitcoin. And you always find audio versions of this show and more at worldcryptonetwork.com. Check out worldcryptonetwork.store. We've got t-shirts, and we're going to be adding more t-shirts soon and all that. But we just want to start out small, see if anyone's interested in merch or merchandise. We've got the dual logo mug, double-sided World Crypto Network logos, the Treasures Don't Float t-shirt, Bitcoin Not Bombs. My friend Davi Barker did a brand new version special for the Bitcoin 2020 halving, collector's item t-shirt, and of course the World Crypto Network, the shirt. Check it out at worldcryptonetwork.store. I think that's going to be about it. Well, we did about 47 minutes. That's pretty good. Almost 30 minutes. Pretty tight. Take phone calls. I'm not sure if anyone wants to call right now, but we'll see. And we'll be back again tomorrow with more news. So let's see. Checked out the movie Southern Comfort. It's pretty good. Kind of a Vietnam-esque movie from 1981. Good companion film to The Hunt from 2020, which is an excellent movie. Just came out this year. It's the only good movie to come out this year so far. There have been some okay movies, but this one's truly great. So thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, bye.